There is an ever-growing roster of Valorant agents, and whether you're picking up an agent for the first time or trying to master them, there are more and more things you need to learn, and it makes picking up agents pretty daunting. But in this video, we're going to go over one advanced tip for every single ultimate, so whether you're trying to learn a character or master them, you have something that you can incorporate into your play right away. And the first ultimate that we got to talk about is Annihilation. Now, Deadlock's ult is really bad to throw into big groups of people. Focus on only throwing it when an enemy team is separated. A fantastic way to use this ult is to actually grab the spike planter. Not only will it grant you a kill, but it will prime deliver the spike to your team and make it a lot easier to defend. In fact, Deadlock has been seeing more and more pick rate and has become a really dominant force, especially on new maps like Abyss. Right now is that sweet spot where the character is good enough to play, but players don't know how to counteract her because they aren't used to going up against a lot of deadlocks, and you can really abuse that for some free SR wins in our Deadlock Master and Minutes course on the SkillCapped website. From Annihilation lineups to dominating with Deadlock on attack and defense, there's so much in this course that will level up your skills, snag you some free wins, and you can quickly climb. And with our rank improvement money back guarantee, if you don't climb, you don't pay, so there's literally zero risk. Check it out right now in the links down below. Now for the next ult, we have Bladestorm. And Jett Knife's biggest asset is utilizing the movement. If you can master timing your glides, jumps, and strafes together, you will destroy everyone. Other than that, it's really just an aiming ult. Focus most on hitting your shots and being patient, and don't spam your knives when there's no need to panic. Now next up, number 3 is Cosmic Divide. Advanced Astra Tex is comboing it with other abilities. For example, give Yoru a corner to come out of his ult so that he can potentially sneak up on the enemy and it makes no noise, or have Jett updraft through your wall with knives. This is all possible because of the muted sound behind Astra Wall, so set this up and coordinate this with a teammate or a duo partner and you can completely destroy the enemy team with just a simple ult combo. Next up is Dimensional Drift, and comboing Yoru ult with info utility is super powerful and consistent. First, you're going to combine your flash and mix it with a Sova dart or a Fade Eye, and you're going to make the enemy choose. Get scanned or flashed, sometimes both. Either way, it's an absolute free kill because you get to see it all happen and pop out exactly when you want to out of your Dimensional Drift and get that free kill. You are basically setting up a no-lose scenario where you can guaranteed get some value and get out safely. The next up is Empress, and many Reyna players don't utilize the weapon enhancements to their full potential. When Reyna ult, you're constantly going to want to be jiggle pre-firing, spamming smokes, and creating a lot of chaos. You are less likely to be caught off guard due to your weapon's reset timer buff, your faster reload, and overall, you want to have high actions per minute while using Empress. Try not to win or lose an entire duel with a perfect slow-paced one-tap battle, not utilizing the many other strengths of this ultimate. Next up, number 6, From the Shadows. The most obvious tip here is picking up the spike and using Omen ult, but everyone already knows that. Did you know that if you teleport in front of your Sage as Omen, she can actually heal you? Simply TP in front of Sage, grab the heal, cancel ult, and you're back in action, fully rejuvenated. And yeah, that's probably a terrible way to use this ult, but I couldn't really think of an advanced one, to be honest. So if you have an advanced tip for Omen, definitely let us know in the comments down below. The next up is Hunter's Fury, and using Sova's ult in a 1vx is almost never the correct play unless they're all one shot and you could kill them with one single hit of the ult. If you have your Sova in a clutch, you always want to get the fight down to a 1v1 before popping it. I see way too many Sovas pop this too early, and of course when the first person is baiting contact of the ult, the other person's going to be approaching you. You're going to have to either cancel it or commit to it and die. So unless you're really far away and you know some specific lineups that can help get someone off spike as you approach it once you get the first person off, then I wouldn't use it if you're in a 1v2. Next up is Kill Contract, and making noise is your biggest mistake. When in this ult, you have the double walls. Never give up your position by making noise. Simply hold with your crosshair placement advantage along with your bullet shield and you're gonna win incredibly consistently. Keep in mind that if the enemy has to flick to you, it's gonna be really hard for them to flick to you and hit multiple shots, including a headshot. So you're gonna have such a huge advantage if you don't give up that noise. So stop wide swinging, giving up all your information, and you're gonna get a ton of value out of this ultimate. Now, number 9, we have Lockdown. And everyone wants to use Killjoy ult to hit a site, but these days people are extremely efficient at destroying it with all the the complex utility and lineups that they have for it. Using this ult on post plant is actually massively underrated. Not only will enemies be less prepared, but there will be fewer RNG factors that can break it, and long story short, most of the time, a Killjoy ult on post plant is going to secure that win, and whenever you can use an ultimate to secure a win, it's just incredibly powerful. So while you think it might be a waste and you would rather use it to retake a site, it has a ton of risks, especially with more and more people learning anti-lockdown strats, so I would probably go with the more efficient option a good percentage of the time. Next up is Neuro Theft, and I want you to not instantly pop your ult off of early kills. Remember that after a corpse is available to ult, you have access to it for the entire round. With this ult, you can tell your team to prepare for a site hit. Once everyone is prepared, you can gain the info and execute a perfect take while saving precious utility. I think way too many people just kill someone, run up and pop an ult randomly, and their team aren't even ready to utilize the information, so a little bit of communication and setup goes a very long way. Next up is Nightfall, and I want you to always save your utility until you pop your ult. Your prowess and eyes get 10 times stronger while Nightfall is active, so try not to utilize all your utility pre-round, grab an orb and pop an ult when you could have actually foresaw that you would have had your ult, set it up, and utilize your utility with your ult. Number 12, Not Dead Yet. One of the hardest ults to properly execute consistently. Focus on not panic ulting, instead plan plays ahead of time. Plan site hits and retakes based around your entries, or even take risky fights during post plans. Your biggest asset with this ult isn't always the kills, it's disrupting the enemy team and stalling time, leading to round wins. As a bonus tip, if the enemy team is running from your ult, get to the best possible spot to throw smokes so that you can still help your team once you die. And next up, Null CMD. Smart Sentinel players will play opposite of their utility when Kayo ult is a potential. The best thing that you can do is call a mid split where the Kayo ults from the middle of map. You are way more likely to get utility offline, and if they are usually on site, you will hit them anyways. So keep this in mind. Of course, it's not going to matter against bad Sentinel players, but it's happening way too often where a KO pops ult, thinks it will turn off all Sentinel utility, but the Sentinel is smartly playing a little bit off site or playing towards mid. Next up is Orbital Strike, and stopping defuse isn't the only great use for this ult. You can pop Orbital Strike to force the enemy out of positions directly into your crosshair. Great locations for this is Hookah on Bind, B main Ascent, backside B on Abyss, and many more. So set up actually advantage duels instead of necessarily just trying to get someone off a defuse or kill someone directly with your ultimate. Next up, number 15 is Overdrive. Similar to others, your main job with this ult won't always be to get multiple frags, but to cause immense pressure on the other team. The longer you stay alive, jumping around, stunning the enemy, and creating chaos, the better opportunity you and your team will have to demolish the enemy team. Basically, while this seems like it might be a hero ultimate at times where you want to run in and kill everyone yourself, it can be really powerful as something that will create opportunity for the rest of your team or be used to start a site take. Next up, number 16, Reckoning. This ult is very easy to dodge if you don't capitalize on it quickly. Make sure that you are ready to go the instant you pop it so that you can gain the most value overall. I think a lot of players wait way too long and don't have the timing right with this ultimate. It's not a instant pop it, especially when your team aren't ready. Very similar to Cypher's ultimate. Number 17, Resurrection. Many sages have a hard time figuring out where exactly corpses are available for res and where they're sitting. Always remember that you can just glance at the minimap and the blue X represents a fallen teammate. Other than that, this ult is pretty straightforward. Nothing major here. Just really make sure that the area around the resurrection target is fully clear and you have confirmation that no enemies are just ready to shut both you and your teammates that are gonna get pissed off that you're messing with their kill death ratio. Number 18 is Rolling Thunder, a very powerful ultimate, but you're gonna want to combo this ult with any utility that forces enemies out of angles so they are forced to peek at you while being stunned. On top of this, any movement duelist that can capitalize instantly off of this ult will make it that much stronger, so try to set it up with your team and trying to also not be overly greedy, trying to ult the entire enemy team and expect to be able to clear every single angle before people can move again. Next up, number 19, Run It Back. A greatly underutilized strategy with this ult is just to use it to plant the spike. You can literally be wingman. Many maps these days have an extremely strong 5v5 post plant, and when you pop Phoenix ult, the enemy just runs away, clears the site, and allows you to get spiked down. For example, on Sunset B site, you can run directly in with ultimate, plant the spike, and still have a little time to look for kills. Unlike Wingman, if the enemy team kills you, the spike will be back in your hand, safe in B main. It's not going to be stranded in the enemy team where they could easily defend it. Super powerful and really an efficient ultimate for only being 6 orbs. Number 20, Seekers. As your ultimate turns a corner, combo it with a flash. The enemies that are shooting your ult will have no choice but to get full blinded, and then you can easily follow in after the fact and get some really free kills. Oftentimes everyone is going to have their gun out ready to shoot the Seekers, so it's a great way to mix it up and trick them. Number 21 is Showstopper. Don't always insta satchel in with this ultimate. A really underrated strategy is to use it to actually hold an angle, and I know that seems weird, but there are many situations where the enemy has no choice but to push into you. In these scenarios, holding up the bazooka is pretty much a free win, unless of course you're Rosa and it's not going to do any damage. But for most of us, you're going to be able to stall for a lot of time and force enemies completely out of the area and buy time for your spike to tick down or your team to rotate around. Number 22 is Thrash. Many times Thrash will get broken mid-leap and not go off at all. While Thrash is mid-air, you can actually hit your leap button a second time and it will activate on the spot, confirming detains and getting you free kills. This one seems super obvious, but you would be surprised how many Gekko players still get this wrong. Don't just allow the full animation to happen while it's getting shot. Pop it the second an enemy is within the effective range of the Thrash, explode it, and get that free kill. Number 23 is Tour de Force. Remember that this ultimate is not just an op, it's a free op that can massively boost your economy. When playing Chamber, make sure to plan your buys around this ult being available. You can play more risky because you know that if you lose your actual op, you'll have a Chamber op in the preceding round. This creates an endless loop of buying ops while saving money and allows you to alter how aggressive you play because you know that it's not going to have huge consequences for the future round. Now last but not least, number 24, Viper's Pit. When you use this ultimate with many teammates alive, your life is the most important thing. As boring as it sounds, every single one of your teammates is going to be using your ult to win the round, and if you die and it goes down, it ruins everything. So it's not your job to clutch up, get crazy kills here, or shut the enemy team down. It's your job to live first and foremost. So trying to go for a high risk, sneak out of your ult and try to shut down the enemy team while your team is still alive could get you killed, have the ult go down, and have your entire team in trouble. So just keep that in mind. So if you learned anything, you definitely got to press that subscribe. And if there was any other advanced tip that you have for other people about your main, definitely share with us in the comments down below. And you're going to check out SkillCapped right here, and we'll see you next time.